By Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson, celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus Hyundai, home of the Kona electric vehicle, an electric heart with an SUV soul. Test drive yours today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm Lovin' It, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Starting now on Primetime, the budget chief says the administration will find a way to fund raises if GDOE cannot cover them. Plus, a day after its warden is placed on leave after a complaint by a fellow officer, an inmate is assaulted and the attack is caught on camera. And the CNMI Senate began its first ever impeachment trial. These stories and much more now on Guam's News Leader. Hafaday Guam and good evening. I'm Jason Salas. This is KUAM News Primetime, and these are tonight's top stories. Well, one way or another, my friends, educators will get their well-earned pay raises. That's the administration's pledge, even if the U.S. Department of Education does not approve the use of the federal funds that local officials are counting on. Nestor Lecanto has more in tonight's top story.
There's been plenty of celebration over the governor's announcement of a 20% pay hike and increments for teachers and administrators. But in a budget hearing Thursday, Superintendent John Fernandez confirmed he still has to get U.S. DOE's blessing to use some $10 million in federal funding for current fiscal year raises. Budget Director Lester Carlson says not to worry, he's got it covered.
I don't think anybody questions the need for retention and morale that this is primarily designed to address. Now we're squabbling about money at a time when the general fund now is $63 million over adopted. That's just month to month.
For next fiscal year and beyond, GDOE will need another $30 million to cover it. And shortly after yesterday's budget hearing, Education Chair Senator Talina Nelson introduced a bill appropriating the additional $30 million for GDOE in FY23. But Carlson says that was already accounted for as well.
The chairman of Ways and Means, he was in coordination and communication throughout the process, and he made positive statements to that effect as well, that he will ensure that it's incorporated into the 23 budget. So I'm not really sure why we're talking about the cart before the horse.
It may be because the announcement of the $10 million in raises for this year came before getting approval from US DOE, and because the $30 million is not part of GDOE's FY23 budget request.
From the administration standpoint, we will make the funds available to DOE if it's necessary to be able to cover 22 teacher raise requirements. Simple. We'll find a way.
When pressed on where specifically the money would come from,
it's kind of like when I serve you, pork adobo. You're gonna love it, but you're not gonna get out of me the recipe. You're just gonna say, "How did you do this?" Well, I did it. You don't need to know how I did it, just as long as I did it.
Hundreds of GDOE teachers and administrators are counting on it. For KUAM News, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
We have some news for you now from the Department of Corrections, as KUAM has confirmed with that agency's director, Bob Camacho, that it was a female officer that alleged sexual harassment against the warden, Colonel Alan Borja. We previously reported that Colonel Borja has been placed on admin leave for 20 days pending the completion of a GPD internal affairs investigation into the alleged complaint. Well, we take it behind bars at the Department of Corrections now as video footage captured by an inmate on a smuggled mobile phone revealed another inmate assaulting another inmate. DEPCOR is currently investigating the incident alongside GPD and its Criminal Investigation Division. And through their investigation, they identified the responsible inmate as Jesse Delgado, who has been charged with aggravated assault. Now, Delgado is serving 6 years behind bars for armed robbery and carjacking and was placed on administrative segregation pending further investigation into the matter. The victim was medically evaluated and transferred to another housing unit in light of the incident. Bob Camacho, once again the Department of Corrections director, told KUAM News, quote, "I'm extremely concerned and troubled that this incident occurred, and we're committed to bringing this assailant to justice and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law." Camacho also expressed that this incident highlights the need for a new prison to detect and prevent such violent behavior from occurring again. Well, this morning at about 4:30, this top shop in Tamuning was broken into through a window and was caught on surveillance footage. The man stole speakers, projectors, and $100 from the cash register. According to manager Katrina DeLay, damages and merchandise stolen totaled about $7,000. Now, it's not the first time they've been a victim of robbery, just recently having lost $5,000 worth of merchandise.
It actually happened like around 2 weeks ago. We have a container outside our shipment, and then someone broke the lock and then stole some inside.
It's unknown at this time if the culprit has been taken into custody. We reached out to GPD spokesperson Officer Berlin Savella and did not hear back as of news time. If you have any information about the break-in, please contact GPD. Their number is 475-8615, and you can also submit an anonymous tip at GuamCrimeStoppers.com. Big news out of the CNMI now as the first ever Senate impeachment trial in Commonwealth history began as Governor Ralph Torres faces 6 articles of impeachment. Our Tomas Manglonia is stationed up in the Commonwealth, and he reports live outside of the Senate on Saipan. Half a day, Tomas. It's been quite the busy day.
Yes, Jason, I'm outside of the Senate here on Saipan, where over the course of 4 hours today, the governor's team of attorneys attempted to defend the governor in the 6 articles of impeachment faced against him charged by the House in January, and they also attempted to put other public officials on trial. Here's more from earlier today.
There is two sides of every story, and today, and starting today, you'll hear my side of the story.
Governor Ralph Torres, hours before his Senate impeachment hearing, unable to commit to showing up in person to the Commonwealth's first trial of its kind. Rather, his attorneys telling his story for him.
When you are asked the question, does clear and convincing evidence exist to sustain each article of impeachment against Governor Torres, to remove him from the office of the governor? No will be the only fair and just answer.
The Senate addressed Articles 1, 2, and 3 over the course of 4 hours and with 5 witnesses Friday morning related to theft of utility services, misuse of public funds, and unlawful first-class travel. The governor's team is unopposed as a prosecutor, and impeachment record are barred after technical errors and failed negotiations by the House. Perhaps the most shocking revelation came from former chief investigator at the Attorney General's Investigative Division, Lawrence Pangilinan, who disclosed that AG Edward Manabusan instructed him in 2019 to investigate the governor's premium travel. He said he reluctantly took his orders, but wanted to include all public officials.
So my recommendation was to go back and do a full audit, whether it be 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 years time span, and recuperate the cost of those first-class premium travels from everyone, to include the governor.
The governor's lawyers allege that current AG Manabusan, former AG Joey San Nicolas, Lieutenant Governor Arnold Palacios, and others traveled first class. They argue that travel regulations formed within the executive branch and reviewed by the Attorney General allowed the governor and lieutenant governor to fly in luxury, even though it contradicts current law. But it was the Office of the Public Auditor that sounded the alarm in 2020, and the provision was removed.
The AG himself, the Office of the Attorney General, was the one that created this confusion for numerous public officials, I might add, not just the governor, to travel first class around this time.
The governor's attorneys also brought Executive Director of Commonwealth Utilities Corporation, Gary Camacho, who says Torres' payments in the thousands were remedied after fixing a meter issue, and Torres only paid for 1 residence at a time, as allowed by law.
In your opinion, did Governor Torres commit theft of utility services as alleged?
No, not with CUC at all.
Other government witnesses spoke about the validity of trips to the mainland for official business, providing photos of meetings and social media posts by state officials. While arguments were brewing inside, cheers could be heard outside as a crowd of supporters gathered to stand by Torres. Meanwhile, the Senate is set to hear the remaining 3 articles of impeachment on Monday at 10 a.m. And Jason, as we mentioned in that story, throughout the next few days and whenever this impeachment trial ends, we're only going to be hearing from the governor's team of attorneys because of that technical error and failed negotiations by the House to have the House prosecutor or even 8,000 pages worth of impeachment records. So we'll continue to bring you the latest on that. Meanwhile, the CNMI governor, Ralph Torres, released a statement just before news time, in part saying we would not be as strong as we are without their support. He says in this statement, referencing the crowd that was outside supporting his office, and he adds and concludes in his letter to the media, to see the overwhelming love and encouragement is what drives us every morning to continue to do good for our Commonwealth. That coming from CNMI Governor Ralph Torres. For now, Tomas Maglonia reporting on Saipan for KUAM News.
All right, thanks so much, Tomas. Outstanding job covering that. And of course, the trial just beginning today, and Tomas will cover the duration of the trial as it progresses. Well, back here in the 671, a joint operation between Camp Blas Fire Department, Anderson Fire and Emergency Services, the 554th Red Horse Squadron's Silver Flag Flight, and Black Construction prevented damage to the endangered species known as Cereanthus nelsoni, also the tree also known as the fire tree. It is quite difficult to pronounce. Thank you. According to Camp Blas Assistant Fire Chief Chris Cruz, at approximately 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday, they were responded to a report of a heavy equipment fire near the Mason firing range. Anderson Fire was first on the scene and proceeded to extinguish a horizontal grinder used to shred green waste. Now, due to the size of the fire, the 554th Red Horse Squadron was called in to assist with their crash vehicle stationed at Northwest Field. Now, that device was able to quickly extinguish the blaze in minutes. Crews then worked on containing the flames on the mounds of mulch because it was adjacent to the endangered tree. Black Construction resupplied the firefighting vehicles during the efforts due to a far distance from a water source. Because of the significance of the tree locally, all available resources were used to protect the exposed tree line and prevent extension of the fire. Another multi-million-dollar contract in other news has been awarded for a military project on base. The Naval Facilities Engineering Systems Command Pacific awarded a $27 million contract to Cadell Non-A joint venture of Montgomery, Alabama, for the construction of an airfield damage repair storage facility up at Anderson Air Force Base. The project consists of a one-story warehouse to pre-position airfield repair equipment. Works expected to be completed next November. Also tonight, we are at the threshold of a major spike in local military construction, and is evidence that the Guam Department of Labor says there are more than 2,600 H-2 foreign workers on island, that highest number since 1995.
According to military officials, build-up projects will peak between 2023 and 2025, and GDOL expects the number of skilled foreign laborers to at least double. Alien Labor and Processing Certification Administrator Greg Massey.
We're kind of projecting based off of military projections of what the workforce will be, and try to throw in some of our estimates on private sector stuff. We should be seeing anywhere from around 5,100 to 5,300. That's a low estimate. I've seen some projections, a little bit more liberal projections of 8,000 to 10,000 workers.
Those are numbers that are unheard of here. And then there's the issue of where will they all stay?
Workforce housing is always a concern. We have seen most of the barracks facilities that were out there that were up for grabs have been taken. We've seen some new facilities being built. I don't know if anyone's been in the Harmon Industrial Park recently. Black Construction built a large multi-story barracks. So those companies that can build barracks are building them.
Military project contractors got a special exemption on foreign labor visa applications, and Massey expects it will be extended through 2029 to coincide with the end of the buildup.
I'm sure the military is working on that. It's still a little bit early to see any language coming out of the of the NDA and the bill form. As soon as we see that, then we'll have a little bit better idea.
He says Governor Leon Guerrero met with Washington officials and was also able to carve out H-2 visa exemptions for non-military construction. That's if they're significantly delayed or adversely affected by on-base work. Massey says it's an exciting time, and he encourages local workers to take advantage now of local apprenticeships.
Get in there. It's a good training time so that when those long-term jobs come in, you can get in on the build up, get some experience. And as those long-term jobs come, when those facilities are finally up, then they'd be able to slot into those jobs.
For KUAM News, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Well, when primetime continues, we tell you about the place to be tonight, the Indigo Music Festival. And still to come, GCC graduates turned their tassels. We'll show you images and words when we return.
KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
If you really want to find out what you're made of, you can forget the personality tests and social media quizzes. Because the only way you're ever going to know is by heading into the big, wild, raging, so damn beautiful it hurts world and finding out for yourself. Were you born to follow a path, or were you born free? These are the things we thought about when we made the new Grand Cherokee. Made for what you're made of.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Welcome back to Primetime, my friends. The voluntary infant formula recall that occurred a couple of months ago of the Similac, Alimentum, and Elecare products continues to impact the supply chain of baby formula products throughout the mainland and its U.S. territories. The FDA is not only working to ensure the formula on the shelves is safe for infants, but also working with suppliers to try and make more formula available sooner. The federal agency sent out a press release yesterday in which they highlighted the actions they're taking to address the formula shortage. They're working with the major infant formula manufacturers to increase supply and ensure that Abbott Sturgis facilities can safely resume production. Locally, public health continues to talk and work with its partners, including retail vendors, as well as distributors, stores, and manufacturers in trying to address this urgent concern, as well as provide available options to parents and clients. They're constantly monitoring supply levels of infant formula on island and other women, infants, and children, the WIC-approved items, and communicating with WIC clients to keep them informed about the current situation. Public Health also continues to converse with federal counterparts for advice and guidance that will address and allow for infant formula exchanges and substitutions, including several resources to promote several feeding practices for infants. As we initially reported, one of the retailers, Payless Supermarkets, said they have an ample supply of baby formula throughout all of their branches, island-wide. Well, the Interagency on Homelessness and Office of Homelessness Assistance and Poverty Prevention tackled the issue of homeless vets around the island during Thursday's meeting. The vice chair of the group and Sinahanya Mayor Robert Hoffman pointed out that homeless vets are out on the streets and asked acting executive of GURA, Elizabeth Napoli, if housing vouchers or any form of housing was offered to them. Napoli said they cannot do anything with the veterans vouchers they have without referral from the U.S. Veterans Office.
That's the problem, is we're not getting the referrals from the U.S. Veterans Affairs Office. And they have to do it. So we're trying to bridge the gap between, okay, how come they're not going there? And our upcoming meeting is to hopefully be able to have that intern that we're going to have per se, do that for us.
Napoli added they're looking to ask other veterans who are willing to volunteer to go out to try and see how they can identify the homeless vets that need the housing and assist them with getting the referrals from the U.S. Veterans Affairs Office. In our next story, for the first time in 3 years, the Guam Community College resumed its in-person graduation ceremonies, celebrating 296 students that have worked very, very hard to be members of the graduating class of 2022. Isaiah Uggan reports.
At the University of Guam Calvo Fieldhouse on Friday, family, friends, prominent leaders, and educators gathered to congratulate a little over 290 students who walked in their cap and gowns across the big stage to pick up their hard-earned degrees. This was the Guam Community College's first traditional face-to-face graduation ceremony since 2019. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, commencement ceremonies were held via drive-through. Since the peak of COVID on the island, students and educators were forced to switch in-person instruction to virtual classes.
It's awesome. I finally graduated, so.
But despite many challenges posed on students by the ongoing global COVID-19 pandemic, 296 students managed to graduate on time or within their scheduled goal. Tiffany Uggan now has her associate's degree in accounting.
The journey was long, of course, because of COVID. It kind of delayed things, but I'm glad we finally got to be here today to do it.
While noting COVID slowed things down and taking classes online was difficult, Uggan shared that she hopes to get her bachelor's at UOG. GCC 2022's distinguished graduate Tamika Marie Ontalon Balesta shared the same challenges of Uggan, but with the support. She was happy to get her associates in science, human services, and certificate in family services.
When the pandemic hit, it was really challenging. You know, we had to shift to virtual. You know, teachers were trying to figure out like how they were going to teach us. But honestly, with the help and guidance of my professor, Arwen Franquez, she was really helpful, so I didn't really have many challenges. The journey has been super great. It's been wonderful, honestly, with professors, friends, family, by like supporting me. It's been really great.
Liz Beneventi, who earned her Associates of Arts in Education, shared her excitement as she moves on to the next chapter of her life.
The pandemic, because it was hard transitioning from face-to-face to online and then going back to face-to-face, so that's really been difficult.
Being an example for her child, Sherilyn Kosam got her Associates in Criminal Justice for her family and now, most importantly, for her son.
At first, I just wanted to do something more fulfilling for my family, but I guess now it's mostly my baby. Everything I do is for him.
What were some of the challenges?
Well, I had a baby, so it was tough having to, meet deadlines and everything, and try to accommodate to work and my baby. So it's a big relief right now.
GCC President Dr. Mary Okada told the class of 2022 to tackle the bumps in the road that lie ahead.
Face life's challenges the same way we face this pandemic, together.
Reporting for KUAM News, Guahusi Isaiah Uggan.
And of course, we here at KUAM wish to extend our heartfelt congratulations to all the members of the class of 2022. Very well done, guys. Well, it is the first show back on island since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the Indigo Music Festival is ready to bring 4,000 people live reggae music. The event's being held at Guerrero Field downtown tonight in Hagåtña. And during a press conference held this morning at the Ringa Royal Laguna, Guam, Indigo Music Festival's Nick Santos spoke about the excitement surrounding the sold-out event.
I think what it does most for the community is it brings us back together, and it gives families a chance to once again share their love for not only local music but just reggae music in general. And that's always our goal, is to open up the doors for our youth and their families to enjoy reggae music here on the islands.
Performing artists include Mauli, the Steppas, One Rhythm, our friend Joe Garrido, KPV, and the Homies, and from Hawaii. Well, please stay tuned. Dave Delgado has the Night in Island Sports. That is coming up next.
It feels like we're in a time loop.
Because we get white hot ranch nacho fries every day?
Yeah.
Same dip,
different day.
Spice up every bite with the new white hot ranch nacho fries at Taco Bell.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
The 5th annual Impact Basketball Camp is open registration for middle and high school players. The camp will focus on some of the basic fundamentals of the game, to include pick and roll, spacing, offense schemes, and team concepts.
We have our summer camp coming up again, our 5th annual one, starting May 30th, for about 3 weeks for the first session and possibly a second session right after that. And yeah, just got to get better. It's weird, basics, right? You got to master it. And sometimes people go away from it. However, at the end of the day, it comes back to fundamentals and mastering the basics.
Coach Jimmy says campers will learn guard play and get an introduction to 3-on-3 basketball.
We'll have Mia St-Nicholas, Lacey Perez, and Joy Pingley, and they'll be back just to help out. And they've helped out in the past. However, now they're playing, and now they could bring some new information, different kind of stuff, and also a coach from Manila, Philippines, Coach Bijong. We call him Coach B. He's coming out for about a week just to help showcase some of his stuff that he brings to the table from the Philippine side. And look forward to a great networking guy, big resume, so you never know. Something could happen down the line of the future, and it's just another opportunity for our kids to showcase.
Anyone interested can give them a call at 688-5996 or check out the website at thyimpact.com. Registration forms are there along with information about fees. Let's check out some boys high school volleyball between Teason and Ukadu High School.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Unified Communications, UC, is the next step in a business phone system. Introducing Docomo Pacific UC, your business phone. Instant messaging, video, voicemail, fax, and more. All unified on one platform and delivered through the cloud. Merge your desk phone with your mobile device. Turn voice calls into video conference. UC reduces phone costs. UC boosts productivity. Work better together with Docomo Pacific UC.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Well, as evidence that the local hotel industry is waking up from the pandemic-induced slumber, our friends at the Holiday Resort and Spa Guam announced a grand reopening next week. The hotel was closed for more than 2 years, but in a news release, General Manager Soo-Min Kim said, quote, "With travel restrictions finally easing throughout the world, we are looking ahead and preparing for a rebounding market." Now, most of the Holiday Resort's food and beverage outlets will reopen along with spa and pool facilities. The hotel says it will be prioritizing health and safety and expects to operate in full compliance with local CDC and World Health Organization requirements. In honor of Law Month and other news, all week long, students from various elementary and middle schools have taken part in fairy tale mock trials at the Guam Judicial Center. Thursday night, students from Agata Johnson Middle School performed the People versus Tarzan case. The mock trials provide students with a fun and educational way to learn more about the system of justice in our country.
Isn't it true that you're a hunter of exotic animals?
Yes, but I went to Africa on vacation, not for work.
Then why did you bring your gun if your trip was purely recreational?
To protect Jane and the professor.
In addition, this evening, students from Atacao Elementary School will be performing the case The People versus Mary Witch, and that is open to the public. All right, and now we're going to wrap up your show with our last birthday shout out of the week. Here's more. Okay, you guys, we only have one birthday celebrant today for May 13th, but you know what? That means that Ave Nicole Quintanilla Hale has the spotlight all to herself, so happy birthday, Ave Nicole. We love you, Pom Pom, says your shout out, and all of your friends and family send you the very best. And you know what? Your friends include all of us at KUAM. So, Ave Nicole, we celebrate you. Happy birthday. Now see how unbelievably cool that is? If you would like to celebrate someone and have them be part of the Cold Stone Creamery birthday club, just go to KUAM.com, go all the way up, like put your mouse all the way up high, click on birthdays and just register them, send us their picture. It's that easy because they could possibly win an ice cream cake like this week's very lucky winner. All right, everybody, this week's winner of a Cold Stone Creamery ice cream cake is this little gentleman, Marvin Sablan, whose birthday was yesterday. So, Marvin, you have 24 hours, actually, today and Saturday and Sunday to enjoy your ice cream cake with your family and friends. And yeah, please do share because sharing is caring. But you know what? We celebrate you for 3 extra days because it's your extended birthday celebration courtesy of Cold Stone Creamery. Enjoy your cake, and we're going to reach out to you and your... We hope you like ice cream and we hope you like cake because Marvin, you and your family are getting a lot of it. So congratulations. My friends, that is going to do it for our show. But thank you as always for watching. We look forward to seeing you next time. And of course, we wish you and your family good fortune and good health. Stay safe, Guam.